Sakushiyeka iyure nje ezimbini phambi kokuba umongameli akhwele eqongeni sithula intetho yakhe ngobume besizwe eParlamente eKapa iSONA. Sikhona ke mbukela ukuphathela konke okwenzekayo. Igama lami nguKamvelihle Kalani. Eli likhaya lakho SABC lihaye. Ukanti ke mbukele ngoku masikrobe kwenzekayo pha eParlamente ukhona uSipho. Khona umuntu ancokola naye pha ngalomzuzu masike sive into ba kwenzeka ntoni na eParlamente eKapa ngalomzuzu.
And talk about a academic hospital, a central hospital that will be constructed in Limpopo. You would have noticed that if you go next to Peter Mokaba Stadium, there is a hospital that is being built. It's a central hospital which will be dealing with all the ailments from that ordinarily as a province we must transfer or refer patients to Gauteng so that Steve Biko and Charlotte Matleke could deal with that. So that is an area that we have seen it. But equally as a province where he focused on the rural province and rural economy. If you go back and look at the reports from Status A last year, Limpopo on its own unemployment rate, it went down, comparatively speaking, by percentage that is more than all the other provinces, which are provinces in the city, wherein from 36% we moved down to 29%. And that was something as a result of the efforts that was being put on, especially when it comes to the issue of government or provinces becoming a construction site. It's one area when you look at our province, we can say this is happening. You look at our contribution to GDP, where we improve by 0.9%, while the country has improved its economy by on average 0.5%. So you could see that even though we can complain, there are areas wherein we don't want to talk about, we don't want to put emphasis on that. The reality of the matter is that while our economy it's improving, it is improving at a pace wherein because for quite a long time things have not been going on well. Even the small credit, a small positive story, we are unable to celebrate. When you look at the unemployment rate, because it's very high, even when we improve, most of our people do not see that as to be celebrated, because we are still seeing a number of young people who are unemployed. But for me, if you look at all those areas, the issues of gender-based violence and femicide, it has been declared now. Last year, it was not declared as a disaster. It has been declared as a disaster. So the president has done his part. What is left is those of my colleagues, we who are being deployed as foot soldiers to make sure that we implement policies that have been put aside. Of course, as a province, today I would not have done justice if I don't say all these positive stories that we have seen have been, some of them regressed because of the recent flooding. So we will expect him also today to talk about, now that they've declared it a national crisis, it has been declared, it has been classified as a disaster, this flooding. We should be able to see resources being allocated so that we can rebuild and go back to where we are, because right now, if we leave it as it is, unfortunately, we are going to be facing a lot of challenges as a province.
Sure. One of the things that he has promised previously is the speed train, the smart city. Are those some of the goals that still exist, or what is the story with those?
Exactly when I said we are in a construction site, if you look at the high-speed rail, when he pronounced, it becomes policy. The Premier of Gauteng and the Premier of Limpopo, together with their executives, we have already met. We have already met and discussed. You might have seen that on the news. Following our meeting, we have met with the Minister of Transport. Following that meeting with the Minister of Transport, you have seen they have already calls been made for interested parties to come and do the feasibility studies. As a province, we have put aside 80 million towards that. So work is there, it's happening. It ends up saying, unfortunately, good news can't be spread like the bad news wool. So high-speed rail, it's still on the pipeline. I'm sure you will hear him today. I'm just hoping that he will still emphasize it. But the directive, he has given it when he pronounced it. The challenge is not what the president is saying. The challenge is us who are supposed to do what he's saying we must do. Because when he pronounced here, it must be translated into policy, and policy must be implemented by those who are deployed to implement policies.
You also spoke about, for instance, GBV being declared a national disaster. We currently have the water crisis in the country, especially in Gauteng, and that does not look good on the government. What is your take? Do you think perhaps we're moving into a situation where we are going to have more and more issues being declared national state of disaster?
It's not only Gauteng, the issue of water. It's just that, as we understand, that Gauteng, it's an economic hub in our country. Therefore, if you have a city of Johannesburg or city of Tshwane without water, like it once happened with this particular city of Cape Town, it became a national a crisis to everybody, because people who are outspoken resides in these metros. But if you look at it, water, it's a challenge, it's a crisis for all our communities, even in our rural areas. It's just that in the rural areas, people who reside there will not be as outspoken as those people who are on Twitter and Facebook. You don't find them in villages. It has been a challenge, and I want to believe, and I strongly believe, that it should be one of those that the president will dedicate to, like we did previously when we had a challenge of electricity, and even put priority to an extent that a ministry of electricity was created. And today we're no longer talking about energy as that much of a crisis like water does. And I want to believe that if we put the same energy that we did on addressing energy crisis, we can be able to resolve the issue of water. Because the issue of water, it might not necessarily be the source itself, but the issue of how do you regulate it, because it's very expensive to take water from the dam to the household. But I'm strongly positive that today he's going to be spending time in addressing this issue of water. Because lastly, if you remember, we declared in my political party, the African National Congress, that this is a local government, a local sphere of government year, a year of local government, because we want to capacitate our our municipalities so that they can respond to the needs of the citizen, and water being top of the agenda.
So lastly, before I let you go, your premier in Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, has come under fire for comments that he made, saying that he seems to have the luxury of taking a bath at a hotel. What is your take on the comments that and how people have reacted to that comment?
I think we need to appreciate the reality that we are living in, that the crisis of water shortage, it's affecting all of us, and none of us is immune from the water a crisis, and that is why you would hear even ourselves showing our frustration. The Premier is frustrated by the question that sometimes there is no water, and we must take it as it is, to say we are not taking this for granted, we are not sleeping. I'm also sometimes frustrated when I wake up in the morning and there's no water. I equally believe that you are also frustrated. So if we are to take it at that angle, that this is a state of a disaster, this is a crisis that is affecting all of us. If we take it in that angle, and instead of fighting each other and look towards solution of giving people water, not focus on things that are not necessary, let's focus on the issue of getting our people water.
Thank you so much, Premier. That was Premier of Limpopo, Phophi Ramathuba, and coming to you live from Cape Town. My name is Sipho Kekana.